During deep sleep, microcontrollers consume very low currents, and batteries live longer. Unfortunately, it is not easy to measure these small currents. Today, we will check out two small boxes which promise to make this possible. And we will use a $10,000 professional power analyzer to establish the reference. Grüezi YouTubers, here is the guy with the Swiss accent, with a new episode and fresh ideas around sensors and microcontrollers. The first contender is the well-known Microcurrent Gold, which is made by Dave Jones from EEVblog. It is the mother of this device category and costs around $80. The other is called Current Ranger and is built by Felix Rusu from Low Power Lab. It just entered the market and is an extension of Dave's concept and costs around $120. The reference is Keysight's N6705C DC Power Analyzer. I asked the Swiss Keysight dealer Computer Controls if they would be willing to help us with this project, and they kindly agreed. But what is so critical about the matter? Why can't we just use our multimeters to measure this current? Let's quickly analyze the setup. We have a power source, usually a battery, and a microcontroller, in our case an ESP32. It runs a small sketch which connects to Wi-Fi, calls open weather maps, and goes to sleep for 10 seconds. The N6705C shows what happens in this diagram. The ESP32 wakes up, connects to Wi-Fi, gets data, and goes to sleep again. The peak current during Wi-Fi operation is around 530 mA, and the deep sleep current around 5 microampere. Fortunately, the N6705C can cope with this extreme range of 1 to 100,000 and shows us this curve. Now we can compare this diagram with the curves produced by our small boxes. But first we have to talk about another problem. It is called burden voltage. To measure the current flowing from the battery to the ESP, here called device under test or DUT, we insert a current meter into the flow. Inside such meters, you find a resistor and a voltmeter. The meter can calculate the current with Ohm's law. The voltage needed by the meter, unfortunately, reduces the voltage for the device under test. So it should be as small as possible. This Fluke multimeter, as an example, has a resistor of 2 ohms for its milliampere range. 2 times 500 milliamperes equals 1 volt loss. The ESP32 only gets 2.3 volts and creates a brownout reset. This is why multimeters cannot be used for that purpose. By the way, the Uni-T meters are even worse. Because a small burden voltage also means we need a sensitive instrument, we have a dilemma, which was solved when Dave introduced this little box called µCurrent Gold. It contains 2 precision op-amps in series in a low noise setup, which provide an amplification of 100. So this box can use a 10 milliohm resistor in the milliampere range, which is 2000 times better than the Fluke. Let's do the math again with this resistor. 500 milliampere times 10 milliohm equals 5 millivolt. The Microcurrent Gold has only a burden voltage of 5 millivolt. And after the amplification, it shows 500 millivolts at the output, which can be displayed by an oscilloscope or measured by a multimeter. If we connect the Microcurrent Gold to our ESP32, we see a similar curve like the one shown by the Keysight instrument. Cool! To check the Microcurrent Gold, I focus at the few microseconds at boot. We see that the ESP starts and switches Wi-Fi on. The peak current is more than 500 mA. The Microcurrent Gold shows only 440 mA. If we look closer, we see that these peaks are very short. That is probably the reason for the difference. The Current Ranger, by the way, shows similar results than the Microcurrent Gold. I did not dig more into this matter. Later on, we see that the ESP32 consumes around 113 mA. The microcurrent gold shows 110. This is very close, and with a burden voltage of maximum 3 mV. With this setup, we can measure the current consumption of the ESP32 when it is working. Summarized, the microcurrent gold is good enough for the girls I go out with, as AVE would say. After a while, the ESP32 starts to deep sleep. During this phase, the 10 milliohm resistor would only show 50 nanovolt, which is close to nothing. Even if we amplify it by the factor of 100, we only get 5 microvolt. Still too low for our multimeter or oscilloscope. This is why Dave uses 3 different resistors for the 3 different ranges, which are manually selected using this switch. The resistor used for deep sleep measurements is 10 ohms. The burden voltage therefore is 0.05 millivolt. And the meter shows 100 times more, 5 millivolt. Both are okay. By the way, the microcurrent gold has no built-in meter. You only have 2 banana plugs as an output to connect either to a multimeter or an oscilloscope. Because cables with banana plugs easily pick up noise, we also see it in the oscilloscope. But it measures the correct value of around 5 millivolt, respectively 5 microampere. Next problem. The burden voltage of the 10 ohm resistor at 500 millivolt peak is 5 volts, which eats up all our 3.3 volt, and the ESP32 starts to reset all the time. We have to manually switch the 2 ranges between the 2 states of the MCU. Very fast, of course. Now let's have a quick look at the reference. The Keysight N6705C Power Analyzer. This device not only has a precise current meter, which, by the way, works the same way as our 2 small devices with different resistors for the different ranges, but also has a built-in power source which could be used to simulate all sorts of unusual situations. Today we only use it as a simple 3.3 volt power supply and a current meter. It also has a high-speed analog to digital converter and a fast switch for the ranges. So we do not recognize that it changes ranges during measurement. We just get all the details in one chart. And if we log the data on a stick, we can analyze it later on a PC. And how does it solve the issue with the burden voltage? Because it has an internal power supply, it does not stabilize the voltage at this point. It maintains the voltage here. So it has no burden voltage at all. What else did you expect from a $10,000 meter? And now comes Felix Current Ranger. It has a very similar analog setup as the microcurrent gold, but added an Atmel chip to switch the resistors. In auto mode, the chip continuously measures the output voltage and automatically selects the range if the voltage is too small or too high. We see this if we watch what happens if an ESP32 is connected. The range regularly changes from milliampere to microampere. With this box, the ESP32 does no more crash, and we can measure both states without manual intervention. The curve looks very similar to the diagram of the Keysight. There are 2 differences. During switching from the microampere to the milliampere range, we see a wrong peak which is not visible on the Keysight. But because it has a very high value, it is easy to detect. Its origin, I assume, is the switching circuit. The second thing is that the value during deep sleep is automatically amplified by a factor of 1000. Because it is so small, it still shows as nearly 0 on the oscilloscope. But if we select the 100 millivolt range, we see that it measures around 5 millivolt, respectively 5 microampere, which is correct again. And because we can connect the probe directly to the current ranger, it also has less noise than the microcurrent gold. You can add a small OLED display to the current ranger. It shows the current in big letters. Unfortunately, all my OLEDs have a different pin sequence, so I had to create a workaround. But definitely this OLED is a nice addition. The nanoampere range is quite delicate, and I did not want that the auto mode accidentally selects this range. So I went to Felix Arduino sketch and commented a line. Now my current ranger precisely does what I want. The nanoampere range can only be selected manually. This is the advantage of open source software. One last difference. The Microcurrent Gold is powered by a 3-volt coin cell and can display -1.5 to +1.5 volts. This is ideal for analog circuits or if you want to analyze charging cycles, because then current flows in both directions. But it reduces the positive range by a factor of 2. The current ranger also offers this biased mode. The default mode, however, measures only positive currents, and so we get a range of about 3 volt. Also a plus if we deal with microcontrollers. As mentioned, the Microcurrent Gold uses a coin cell for power. Such a cell lasts for many hours of operation, no problem. Unfortunately, if you forget to switch it off, the battery might be dead next time you want to use it, and you have to remove all 4 screws to replace it. The current ranger uses auto power off and a LiPo battery, which is another crucial difference for a forgetful guy like me. The LiPo, however, does not come with a kit, nor comes the JST connector. And you have to rework the case to fit the USB connector. This is why I printed my little white box. Summarized. Multimeters impose high burden voltage and cannot be used to accurately measure current for microcontrollers, especially if Wi-Fi or deep sleep is used. The Microcurrent Gold solves the issue of burden voltages for relatively constant currents. It is a simple and handy device for measuring these small currents. However, its operation is entirely manual. Its ±1.5 volt range sometimes is quite small. Measuring deep sleep scenarios create a new problem which cannot easily be solved with the Microcurrent Gold because ranges have to be adjusted manually. The ESP32 regularly crashes when it tries to wake up, and the Microcurrent Gold is still in the microampere range. The current ranger is an enhanced model which inherits the good traits of the Microcurrent Gold. It adds many useful features like auto-ranging or a LiPo battery, including a charging circuit. Both are accurate enough for characterizing current consumption of microcontrollers for a hobbyist. The auto-ranging of the current ranger is fast enough to solve the issues of burden voltage. The ESP32 does not crash. The results of the measurements are mostly comparable with what was measured by the Keysight meter. One exception is short spikes, but they do not contain a lot of energy and therefore are not very important for makers. Both are relatively pricey devices compared with a standard multimeter. I tend towards the current ranger if you can afford the higher price. It has no apparent disadvantages and a lot of advantages over the Microcurrent Gold. I was glad to use a professional reference for this comparison. Like that, we saw that our devices are usable for makers. But we also saw that there is quite a difference to the N6705C from Keysight, not only in price. One last thing. I did not test the Bluetooth capabilities of the current ranger. It would enable wireless data logging. Wireless here is important. It is easy to create ground loops or even short circuits, mainly if you work with oscilloscopes which have a ground reference. For that reason, it is not advisable to use the USB connection on the current ranger during measuring. I also used a USB isolator for the monitoring of the ESP32. I hope this video was useful or at least interesting for you. If true, please consider supporting the channel to secure its future existence. You find the links in the description. Thank you. Bye.